3, 2, and 1. Hey, how the hell are you? Welcome to the Wyzguymedia Show, episode 156. This is your host, Jason Michael, and thank you so much for tuning in today. With 18 years of experience behind the torch, I am as excited as always to bring you conversations with artists, sharing their stories in hopes to inspire and entertain while helping you grow your business. And today is no exception. In today's episode, I am going to be giving you a brief discussion and conversation and covering reasons and why the hell is it that you want to be a glassblower. And if you already are one, why is it that you are one? This is a topic I actually covered last year after coming back from a weekend spent at Dave Ramsey's Smart Conference. It was a full day, about 12 hours of amazing, intense conversation around everything from family, parenting, business, financing, retirement. You name it, they covered it. And I was completely blown away, and it really took me, literally like 2 months of getting all my shit and stuff and things and thoughts together. And one of the things I talked about was really the meaning of what it is and why is it that we do what we do. Whatever it is, whether it's you're a plumber, a dentist, flinging burgers at McDonald's, or a glassblower. And this topic comes up all the time, in terms of life, why we do things we do, but specifically when it comes to something that we're passionate about and our career and something we could potentially be doing for the rest of our life. It is so important to understand the reasoning behind why you're doing it. There could be many reasons. It could be just because you think you're a badass because you're a glass artist. It could be because you're just doing it to support your family as like a 9-to-5er kind of thing. It could be because it's an outlet for your creative artistic thoughts and abilities. All kind of reasons. But before we get into this topic of conversation, I want to remind you about the sales going on at Mountain Glass right now, as they are a big sponsor of our show and friends of the family here. Right now, don't forget you can go to mountainglass.com if you're looking into ordering some glass. Right now, they have their shot, rod, and tube Boro sale going on, 35% off shot. Just put in the code SHOT at checkout. That's SCHOTT. And for all you soft glass nerds, they have their Effetre rod, 35% off sale going on right now. Just put in the code Effetre, that's EFFETRE at checkout. And they also have some kiln sales going on, some torch sales, and some fun new things, competitions and contests, as well as their 15-year anniversary logo has been chosen. It's pretty exciting to see the fact that these guys have been around for 15 years. And they're doing something right if they have been around this long. Customer service is on point. Knowledge is on point. They are all about our community and the glass world in general. So if you guys need anything, if you need some glass, need some supplies, need a poster for your shop, any questions you have, comments, anything you have about the glass world, definitely hit up Mountain Glass. That's mountainglass.com. And you can send them an email. You can also contact them. All their information is on their website. And I can't say enough about Mountain Glass. I have been involved with these cats, buying my materials and stuff from them for the majority of my career. I mean, they're 15 years now. They've been in business. I've been doing this for 18. And I would probably say 12 years, if not longer than that, I've been buying all my stuff from them. And again, it's because for me, I have purchased from every company on the earth, and I find Mountain Glass is number one in my heart. And that's why I wanted to reach out to them to be a sponsor on the show, as I'm only going to be bringing on sponsors who I use and feel are appropriate for you, the audience, as members of our community who have a positive, really awesome philosophy behind their business and why they do what they do. So go to mountainglass.com and check them out. And so some other things going on. We have some classes and stuff that are out there. Zen Glass has classes coming up. All these things are going to be on our calendar of events. And because of this technical issue we've been having, myself, not to mention the fact that because of my new work schedule, I'm doing 5 days a week right now, where I'm out of town and only home 2 days, and really only have 1 day to do podcasting. So when I get behind on a 1 day, it ends up leading to like 2 weeks, which sucks, but it is what it is. So going to be getting our calendar of events up to date and what have you, so you guys can really get an idea of what's going on out there in the community. Everything from premieres, what have you. We're going to be bringing J.D. Mablesden back on as well to discuss the premiere of his documentary that they had, his Vagabond documentary that just came out recently. It's incredible product that they came out with. I know they spent hours and hours and hours, literally months, with the filming and editing and what have you, and it is a fine piece of film. And we're going to be bringing, again, JD back on next month because the month of May is going to be dedicated to the concept of lifestyle design and being able to take your talents and your knowledge as a glass artist or glass blower or craftsman, whatever you want to dedicate and define yourself as, in this medium and travel the world doing it and live the life that you really want to live, that you've been dreaming about since you were a child. I'm still on that path myself, getting to where I want to be, and it takes time. I'm 40, and some of these things, some come to us sooner, some of us takes a little bit longer. In my case, a little bit longer than most. But that being said, I do appreciate and am grateful for the opportunity to be a glass artist and to live out this life. Having my gig over at the Mouse House is a dream come true for myself personally, as ever since I was a child wanting to be an artist there. Never imagined in 100 million years I would ever be sitting there blowing glass. I always figured I'd be backstage doing animation or something of that nature, but to have the opportunity to be on stage and to show off our talents and showcase the glass medium, especially now that I'm working in the hot shop doing furnace work pretty much 3 out of the 5 days that I'm there. And it's kind of funny, my buddy Charlie, who's our main hot shop, Charlie Keela, he's taken me under his wing as a mentor in a sense and taught me what I'm knowing and understanding now in the hot shop world. But after doing the furnace work for 3 days, I then went over to my other location to work on the torch on Friday and Saturday. And it literally took me 2 days to get my shit together. I was like, oh my God, I haven't touched Boro in like a week, if not a little bit longer than that. And even though I've been doing this for as long as I've been doing it, I was just completely blown away by it. I had completely lost my swag when it came to melting Boro. I have a very routine kind of dramatic flair style that I use when I'm on stage performing and making my stuff. And one of these days I'll do a little recording, or I'll have somebody record me doing it so you guys can kind of get an idea. But I mean, it literally took me 2 days to get that back. The first day I was just like fighting it, trying to figure this medium out again. And then day 2 I was back on the grind of doing my thing. But it was just pretty funny just how it was. And I know when we had Malachias on recently, he was talking about the concept of that, when he's doing production, or when he was doing production, it took him several days to get his brain back, and several days of completely taking it off time from the torch to walk away from it, to get back into the creative sense. It's pretty interesting how our brains and bodies work that way. Because a lot of what we do is muscle memory, technique-wise, and, things that we make and whatever. It's not only creative, but it's a lot of muscle memory. I find it really fascinating. And when I teach, that's part of what I teach, which is going to be leading up to our online series here coming up in July. But that being said, I think it's time for us to get into this discussion about what it is and why it is that we do what we do. So stay tuned. Here we go. All right. So I'm not going to ramble on or rant or go on too long-winded, whatever cliche analogy we want to use for this. The main reason I wanted to bring this topic up is I know as our community grows, it's gone from hundreds of us to thousands of us, tens of thousands potentially. We really don't really know. But every day this community is growing bigger, whether you're a collector or an actual glass artist. And I find, just from a perspective from the sidelines, that a lot of folks get into this business, this art, this medium, because of the money. Now, money's really good right now for a lot of folks. Some of us, not so much. Some of us, it's amazing. Some of us are right in the middle, surviving and paying our bills. But when you see the guys and gals that have been doing this for 15 plus years that are making thousands of dollars for their individual items, it's easy to see that dangling carrot out there and want to just rush out and grab it without taking the proper steps to get to that point. And it takes years upon years, unless you have the opportunity and the blessing to have done an apprenticeship under somebody who has the experience, who's gone through the windfalls, who's gone through the aches and the pains and the breaking the glass, and can help you avoid certain situations. But really, it's those that are out there that are just hungry for the money. And I get it. Don't get me wrong. I mean, it's definitely motivation for a lot of folks. For me personally, money does not motivate me whatsoever to be a glass artist. I have my bills that got to be paid, so obviously my bills motivate some of my drive. But really, I'm a glass artist because I am passionate inside and out, upside down and backwards about this medium. I've always been fascinated by it ever since I was a child, just how glass is made and the way it works. But then to be introduced and have the ability to take a rod of glass, manipulate it in 3,000 plus degrees heat, and come out with a product at the very end of the day, it's just still, to me to this day, as long as I've been doing this for, still mind-blowing. I still love going to the kiln and opening the kiln every fucking day and seeing what it was that I created that day before. And so I want you to think about what it is that truly is your meaning behind the reason why you are a glassblower or you want to be a glassblower. You know, if it's just for notoriety, cool. You know, I have no judgment or anything against that. I'm all about it. If you think it's cool and it's something that you want to do just because it's a cool thing to do, go for it. If it's something that you want to do to support your family as like a 9-to-5 job, do it. If it's something that you think you're going to dedicate your life and passion and every ounce of your soul to it, go for it. Just understand that you need to have some specific reason for why you do it. You may not think you do, but you do. And even if you sit back and think that, oh, I don't need to fucking have a reason for doing this, there's a reason you're doing it. It could just be because you have nothing else going on, because you're bored. Depends on what you're doing. Are you an entrepreneur at heart? Are you a craftsman? Are you a hobbyist? Do you have a full-time job and you're looking for a creative outlet on the side? Are you a musician but don't really want to play music anymore, so you're still finding this creative outlet? Like, there's all kind of reasons for why we do what we do. Once you find that, what it is, your work will become better. You'll become better. Everything around you becomes better. And again, it doesn't matter what the fucking reason is for. It's just that you get to this conclusion deep down inside of what it is and why it is that you do what you do. So sit and think about it when you're on the torch next time. If you're listening to me right now while you're on the torch, think about what it is that you're doing and why it is that you're doing it. What are you making right now? Why are you making what you're making? Think about the person who maybe showed you some techniques that got you to the point of where you are and why you are making what you're making. There's a lot involved in this whole concept of being an artist. You know, as a painter or a sculptor or a musician, there's reasons for that, reasons for those mediums, reasons why people are driven to become that type of artist. To be a glass artist is not a common thing. It's, you know, even though there's thousands of us out there now, it's still such a unique individual art. And still, in my opinion, I feel that the glass artist to today and modern glass blowing and modern art in general, the glass artist is, to me, is the most technically sound artist out there. There's so many things that are involved in being a glass artist. You have to be able to compose. You have to be able to draw somewhat. You have to be able to think ahead, make moves. What's the next move going to be? Think of it like a chess game. And when you start to think and contemplate about all the things that are involved in what it is that you're doing, the focus, the drive, the understanding that you burn yourself, you cut yourself, you got to keep moving and working. All these things are encompassed into what it is as it means to be a glassblower. And when you get yourself involved in the art, 9 out of 10 times you're immediately hooked. But when it gets to that point in time when you are hooked, what the fuck is it about it that you're hooked? Again, is it the adrenaline rush? Is it the potentiality of burning yourself and really injuring yourself badly? Is it the fact that it makes you focus on something? For myself personally, that's one of the reasons I love it so much. Having my ADD bullshit that I deal with on a regular basis. For me, when I'm on the torch and I'm in my zone and I have my flow state going, there is nothing better in the world than to be in that flow state. It doesn't happen every single time, but for myself, as doing this as long as I have, and understanding and recognizing and being mindful about where it is and what it takes to get to that state of flow, I'm able to get there pretty quickly nowadays. Some folks, it might take a couple hours. It might take a minute. It may never happen. But I guess just never say never when it comes down to it. And again, I don't want to ramble on about this. I want to keep this kind of short because I don't want to ramble on about this. I really want to just ask a couple questions really, and it's, what is it that you're doing? Obviously a glass artist, but what is it? What is it in your art that you're doing? What are you trying to say? What's your voice trying to speak through your medium that you're making? Why are you trying to find this voice? Again, is it for your family? Is it for you? Is it for expectations of other people? Is it because you're just saying fuck it to the man? Why? And the third question I'm going to ask you is how? How the hell are you doing this? Did you learn on your own? Did you take an apprenticeship, some classes, working with friends, sharing knowledge, etc.? So, why, what, and how? Could be in any order. But ask yourself that and write that shit down on paper. I would love for you to share it with me, honestly. If you want to send me an email, Wyzguymedia@gmail.com. I'll have the link in the show notes. Post it on our Instagram post. I'm going to post this up there on Tuesday when this episode comes out. So when this episode comes out, I'm recording this here on Sunday. On Tuesday when it comes out, you'll see the post on our Instagram page. That being said, if you're not following us on Instagram yet, you can follow us on Instagram. We are Wyzguy_radio, WYZGUY_. That's a little lower dash line radio. And I'll have that link in the show notes too. But comment on the post. Why, what, and how are you doing what you do? I'll tell you myself. My how, I started off doing an apprenticeship, 6 months in the shop, proving myself, proving my worthiness, watching the guy that I learned from day after day after day make incredible work, and just studied his hands, his tools, his glass. My what? I make things that make me happy. I make things that my customers ask me to make. I make things that speak from my heart and my soul. I make things sometimes that I don't want to make, but I have to because I have to pay the bills. And the why? Well, there's many reasons why. For starters, again, it pays my bills. But my main reason why is because I love it. It's a passion. I couldn't see myself doing anything else or involved in anything else, especially for doing it as this long. Ever since I was a child, I wanted to be a professional artist. Just never imagined again that it was going to be glass, especially working where I work now. I mean, it's, in a million years, I never, ever, ever in a million years would have ever dreamed that I would be working where I work. And my kids, I want to show my kids what it means to work hard, to be dedicated to something, to be passionate about something, to stumble and fall, to make mistakes, to have things that you work on for hours upon hours break, and then you have to say, oh my God, this fucking sucks, and then you move on and you do it again, and you maybe have to do it again, and then you maybe have to do it again. You know? I do it because I want to set examples for you. I want to set examples for my children. I want to set examples for generations behind us of glassblowers. I also do it because of the fact that this is a tradition. This is a 400-plus-year-old tradition. Flame working, not so much, but just the art of taking something like glass and creating something out of it that speaks to your voice and becomes a beautiful object that someone can take and hold and be happy with. I mean, shit, if you have never seen somebody cry because they've been exposed to something beautiful in art, especially in glass, it's an emotional experience. Have seen it happen many times, not only where I work now, but also back when I was doing my days at the Chihuly Collection and doing tours and bringing people through the gallery and giving them a verbalized tour of the place and having people literally brought to tears by just the sheer beauty of the colors and the composition of glass. It's crazy, but it's true. Glass and art in general evokes an emotional experience. So why do you do this? What are you doing? And how are you doing it? Ask yourself these 3 questions. Leave a response. You can leave it in the email. You can also leave it on a post at wyzguymedia.com/1. I think it's going to be 156. I think it's how it's going to post on there. I have a new plugin that I'm using that automatically posts these shows onto the website. So really, if you just go to wyzguymedia.com, go to the tab, and then just go to Wyzguy Radio, that'll bring you to the most updated show. I got to go on there and do a little research before I give you all the answers, because it's kind of silly that I don't know this, but I should know this. But yeah, that being said, really just leave me an answer on the Instagram page. I would love to see everybody's answers. Why, what, and how. It's simple, but it's not. Write the shit down. Really dive deep into what it is that you're doing, what you're doing. And on the days that you're like, man, I don't want to fucking do this, ask yourself at that point in time, why? Why, what, and how? All those 3 things. You'd be amazed at what you find. Ask yourself that in anything you're doing in life. If you're going to do something that you maybe think is not the right thing to be doing, ask yourself those 3 questions. Because everything has rewards, everything has consequences. When you're on the torch, focused on your glass and you're making things, you're taking time away from something or somebody else. But if your important reasons of the why, how, and what, if there is actual true meaning and positivity behind those 3 questions, fucking do it. You know, sometimes we got to do what we got to do, whether it's because we love it or because we hate it. So with that being said, I'm going to let you go. I'm done rambling. Hope you enjoyed this little chit chat and talk with you. And again, this is all about you. Why it is that you are doing what you do. It's so important to think about, especially when it comes to dedicating your life to this. You know, I've been doing this for 18 years now. I don't see myself stopping anytime soon by the grace of God. Hopefully my hands will survive the next 60 years plus. I know the job that I have, the place I work at, from the day they hired me 5 years ago, I told them I was going to be there the next 25 years, at least. We've got guys that have been with us for 22 plus years because they love what they do. They've been glass artists. They've learned a lot. They've had their struggles and trials. They've been around the world. They've seen some amazing things. And they're still cranking, and they're still growing, and they're still learning, and they're still being the best that they can be every single piece, every single day. So think about these questions. Leave your answers for me. You can send me an email, wyzguymedia@gmail.com, or just leave them in the bottom of the post on the show notes, or at the on our Instagram at Wyzguymedia or Wyzguyradio _ or Instagram is at Wyzguy_radio. Good Lord have mercy. So until next time, thank you so much for tuning in. And again, thank you so much for your patience. I know down the road when this is already over, this won't matter anymore, next month or 2 months from now. But again, thanks. I appreciate you staying dedicated to the show. Please do me a favor, if you can, share it with your friends, post it on Instagram, leave me a review. Anybody that leaves reviews, I'm going to be doing shout-outs. Excuse me, I have not been as good as I should be about going onto iTunes and just checking their reviews and comments like I used to do. And I truly honored and love this medium, this outlet that I have, this chance to be a voice and talk and share stories. So thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for giving me an opportunity to do this. Even if I just had one listener, it would be awesome. But we have thousands, thousands of listeners. It's fucking awesome. I'm saying fuck a lot today. Whatever. I'm out of here. I love you. Thanks again for tuning in. Please, again, leave me a review on iTunes, 5-star review if you feel the show deserves it. Contact me, wyzguymedia@gmail.com. And until next time, we will talk to you on episode 157 of the Wise Guy Radio Show. Take care. Be good. Peace.